Oh, don't you fucking dare. Can you guys hear me? Sybil's here. Sybil's here to keep everybody in line. So a lot of you guys know Sybil. Sybil's always not very far from me, even when you can't see her. So the graphics card seems to be working pretty good. Does everything, the video look okay? I don't know if you can hear her, but she's purring like so loud. She always does. And now Cedric's here. Here's Cedric. So I'm looking to see if this tells me how many people are here. Yeah, Sybil's my third Blue Point female Siamese I've had, and I've had I had a chocolate point and I had a seal point. I do have a solid state drive, but actually, I should check because I don't think this is installed on it. I think I installed this on the other drive because I left the solid state drive so that I could have like all my startup programs and things. I got it's a Phoenix. It's Asus, but it's NVIDIA GeoForce GTX. There's a loop it keeps repeating. That's really weird. So I'm going to have to tweak this a little bit more because when I tested it, I wonder if it's the time of day. Maybe I should be doing these at a different time because this morning when I did it, it was like I let it go for 10 minutes and there was absolutely no problem. So I'm wondering if like maybe it's higher traffic right now because it's after work time. Maybe we should try doing this like on maybe a Saturday afternoon or something the next time to see if it's better. Because I'm guessing there's got to have something to do with the amount of demand on the system. But you guys can hear me okay, right? That's good, Kara. I'm glad to hear that. I'm going to tweak it some more. But like I was just saying, I really think there's something to do with maybe the time of day. So I'm going to try it again tomorrow morning. I'll test it. I mean, we're going to obviously keep going here, but tomorrow morning I'll test it again and see if it is even much better because the frame rate that I had earlier was really, really good. So, yes, Samantha, actually, I'm doing a video after we do this that I'm going to put up tonight because what's my bit rate? I don't know. I had fine tuned it earlier today with settings that one of the forums told me was good for this particular graphics card. It is. Let me see if I can see my settings here. Oh, there they are. My bit rate is 6,000. Yeah, Kira, I think it is the high traffic. It's strange because I did two 10-minute tests earlier, and the whole 10 minutes that it ran, it just was absolutely flawless. I may get a, what do you call it? I'm so tired. I worked all day today. Um, a video, what do they call it? Processor or whatever. It's like a, right now I have it going through my computer and I have a unit that translates the video, but I think I may get an external one that will take even more of the load off of the processor in the computer, for those of you who know what I'm talking about. Because I think that will even make it better. I thought at first maybe it was my internet, but I ran speed tests. I've run several of them now, and my speed is really, really good for both upload and download speed. So it's not the speed of my internet. Because that's what I was blaming it on at first, but I think it's just the computer. So I think I am gonna get a video processor unit 2 to plug in and run the video through there instead of through the computer. So I started to say, so you guys were asking about the Ace family. Yes, I'm making a video when we finish this. I've got information about how they're advertising when they were promoting the Ace Fest before they made some changes. Oh, did it? Oh God. So anyway, so their advertising, I think, was actually broke the law, and they I think they've broken the law several on several things with their promotion and their advertising, and I'm going to talk about that in a video that I'll upload later tonight. And you guys will see what I found out, and I think that they potentially could be in trouble if somebody were anonymously to report them. Yeah, Jujubee, I'll reinstall the OBS software onto the solid state drive. I have a really big SATA drive that I put like all of my files and stuff on, and I've installed some programs on there because I tried to keep the SATA drive as clean as possible. But I think this is not on the solid state drive, so I'll transfer it over later on. My internet speeds are really high. I had like 42 download and it was like 150 upload, so it's really high. Oh yeah, I did see that Catherine's brother posted something, and I was gonna look at it, but I was so busy today. I was distracted. I didn't have time to screw around on YouTube instead of working. I had 2 court hearings today, so my whole day has been kind of shot. So he posted a video about with one of her classmates in it. Oh, one of her old classmates made a video about her? Yeah, I know, Caitlin. Really, it is shocking that. Um, so I'll tell you guys, since you guys are in chat with me, what I was alluding to in my last video when I said that they were saying that the negative videos that have been circulating on YouTube had slowed their sales down. They've actually, I won't name any names, but they actually had um, sent a letter from their attorney to some people saying that in writing that the negative publicity was slowing down their sales. And so I thought to myself, geez, if they're admitting that their sales have slowed down since the videos, and all the videos came out after they allegedly sold out, well, then how could the sales have slowed down because of the videos? Oh yeah, I do actually, Jess. I do have Discord. I haven't expanded into Discord or Twitch or any of those yet, but do have accounts. I just haven't had time to devote. I've been also creating a children's bedtime story channel, and I had an animation made of the mascot that I had created for it, so that the animation can run while I tell the stories. Yeah, Jess, if you want to email me at my info at info at madcatster.com, or you can, I'm sorry, just send it to realmadcatster at gmail.com. And if you want to give me the information, then I'll connect with you. I had one person today. I don't get very many bad comments, which I'm kind of surprised because I know that some people get a lot of hate, but occasionally I'll have, and I can tell it's usually a kid saying, "Oh, you hate the Ace family," and somebody was like, "Oh, you're bordering on a hater, and you're just jealous because they're a big successful channel, and you're picking on them because they're struggling, and you're not as successful." And I was like, "Oh God, give me a break! Like, you really think I'm jealous of the Ace family?" Oh yeah, I did. Hey, Julie, I did. I saw Chelsea on the video she did with Sloan. What comments? You mean on the Ace family? You guys, most of you probably know about the allegations that have been made that they paid that company like to build up their following. I wouldn't be surprised if they've got people who are working just putting comments on all their videos. Yep, you missed all the fun, egg roll. Yeah, I'm sure their comments are fake. Um, but I went back today. I was watching clips of their videos when they talked about the Ace Fest. Back when they were first talking about it, and they were talking about how they had hadn't, and we all know this. They didn't have any idea where it was going to be, and they had said, "Oh, we'll put it up, the place up when we put up um, when we put the tickets up for sale, you'll know where the venue is." And it's like, and then they didn't even have it. It's like, there is no way in hell that you can get an event the size that they were talking about up and running in such a short amount of time. It's just impossible. Some guy left a message saying that he was the guy who was organizing the Soul Festival, but I don't think it was really him. I think it was somebody trolling. Because I was like, okay, well, what's your email? And I'll email you. And then I heard nothing back. But, he was like, oh, it's news to me that they're sharing with us. And I was like, come on, you guys just changed your hours to be identical to theirs. Don't tell me that you guys don't have some connection and that you're not sharing stuff in this thing. Yeah, I saw. Yeah, Jess, I thought that video was kind of gross too. It's like, you know, there. I was just watching something about all the pedophiles that are like that watch all these kids, family channels that have little kids, and it just was so gross. It was like, why would you expose your kids to that? And then who was it? The LeBrants, I think their young daughters have their own channels, or one of the daughters, and like somebody looked and the figure was like 70% were like older men. It just was it just gave me the willies. It was like, oh my God. It's like, why would you let your kid do that? It's just disgusting. It's like, stop exploiting your kids. These poor kids are going to grow up with all kinds of psychological issues because of the way their parents have prostituted them out to make enough to buy their Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces instead of putting money in the bank like they should be. Yeah, Jess, I'm sure they have bought bots. It's like, there's no way. Um, if you look at their statistics, their views are down. Um, and it's honestly, it's like almost like they don't even try anymore when they make a video, because all the videos lately that they've been doing are just so lame. Can you guys still hear me? Yeah, I do have. I have to say, and I knock on wood. I've been answering every or responding to or commenting on every comment that people leave because it's like I just feel like you should connect with people, and I think people like it when their comments don't just go into the ether. Yeah, Kara, I'm gonna tweak it some more. Um, I'm kind of actually I honestly I think it has something to do with the time of day. I really do because I tried doing it. I think it was the same time the last time, and it was the same kind of issues. It's not as bad as it was, but like I said earlier in the day, it was doing great. So I may shoot for like maybe do it on the weekends during the day instead of in the evenings because it seems like there must be a lot more strain on the network right now. Hi, Sandra. Thank you, Hunter. That's very nice of you. Yeah, I always tell people that I think I've paid my vet enough money every because I pay him twice a month. I send payments to my vet because I just have so many cats that I take them. Obviously, I have like more than one cat a month goes to the vet. So, um, that's too funny. Yeah, I know. I wonder why it's looping like that. Like I said, I'll tweak it a little bit more, and then we'll try it at an earlier time the next time. I honestly think that has a lot to do with it. But anyways, so I always tell people I think I paid my vet enough for him to buy a new car over the last 5 or 10 years. But yeah, it's like my vet and I are on such a close basis because I see him so much that he actually lets me text him if I have an issue, and he'll actually go open up his office, his surgery, if I have an emergency for me, because he doesn't live too far from me, and his surgery, the clinic is not too far from me either. But it's nice because if I ever have an issue, even if it's like late at night, I can text him and he'll text me back. Yeah, no, they can't afford to buy views anymore, Sarah. It's like I don't know where they're getting the money to pay that rent. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that they're not paying their rent anymore. I watched somebody did a video and they were like making calculations about how much they think they're earning now versus what they used to earn, and it was like I don't even think it was enough to pay their rent every month. Besides I'm still trying to find out what this brand deal is they got. I can't imagine who wants to work with them. Well, Janelle, I watched the videos over that they had made prior to the tickets going on sale, and they were talking about how they could only have 5,000 people. And I was thinking to myself, well, first of all, you put more passes on sale than 5,000. Not only that, but each pass was either 2 or 3 people. No, what was it? 3 or 5 people. So if you have that many people times those 8,000 tickets, that's way more than what they had said that they were permitted to have. So what I'm wondering is maybe the Soul Festival like allotted them so many people because the total capacity, so maybe they got like a percentage of the total capacity and that's how many tickets they could sell for their event. I don't know. I'm still really interested to see what a shit show this is going to be. The fundraiser that I started, we're 2/3 of the way there. So I did reserve a hotel because I'm hoping that we make it, and I can go out there I'm just going for 2 days. It's a crappy trip because I live on the East Coast, to make in that short a time, but that's all right. I really want to go out there and see how bananas it is. And I bought a new really small 4K streaming camera that I can conceal. And I noted that they did encourage people to bring cameras. So I don't think they're going to be taking anybody. Someone had said to me, "Oh, they may be taking cameras," and that's not what it sounds like to me. Plus, thank you, Julie. Thank you very much. That was very nice. That goes into the cat food fund. On the current lawsuits, Queen Lola, I've been looking, and I should probably look because I haven't looked this week yet. But there's been absolutely nothing happening. And I keep looking to see because I keep anticipating that they're going to have more lawsuits. I can't imagine that we're done with the lawsuits yet. My oldest cat, God, you had to put me on the spot. Let me see. I'll tell you because I have an app that's got all my cats on it. Like my vet has an app that they have for their practice that I can use to check my cat's records and that I can make appointments on. Let me just look and see what I've got on my app. I can't remember who's the oldest one anymore because of course I know all their names. People always said, "Oh, how do you remember their names?" And I was like, "Really?" I was like, "If you had 15 children, would you not remember their names?" It's like, of course I know their names. I've got 4 black ones. I can tell them all apart, Let's see. So, who is the oldest? Oh no. Why does this thing say I don't have any pets? Oh, here they are. Okay. Took a minute to update. I got scared. I was like, where'd my cat's records go? So, let's see. Which one's the oldest now? I think it's going to be Amelie. Yep. Amelie is the oldest cat, and Sybil is second. And they're both in very good health. They both had their annual physicals within the last couple of months, and they had blood work and everything done, and everything is good. So Sybil is very, very healthy. Amelie is healthy. There's nothing wrong with her, but she's very, very slowed down quite a bit for her age because of her age, and she literally sleeps like 90% of the time. But she's very sweet, and I guess I can just tell like she's completely slowed down. So I think when she dies, it's going to be just natural causes. Like maybe she'll, die in her sleep or something, which I would rather than having her develop any problems. But not to be morbid, it's just, you think about these things because the worst thing that happens is when you have a cat get sick and all of a sudden you've got, this trauma and this drain on your energy dealing with the illness of a cat that's terminally ill. So, the best thing my oldest cat that I ever had was 22 years old, and it was a cat I had when I was growing up. I got her when she was a little kitten, and I was pretty young, 22, and she was never sick a day in her life, and then one day she curled up in the laundry basket and went to sleep and never woke up. Yeah, Caitlin, my vet does send me Christmas cards. But I mean, it's not like it doesn't have like any personal message or anything, and it's kind of everybody signs it in the office, but it is good to be on that, have that kind of a close relationship with your vet, because he definitely stop it. My deaf cat is scratching the new chair cover that I just put on the chair that they like to lay on. But what was I saying? So, so it's, I literally see my cat. I literally see my vet at least once a month, and usually probably a couple times a month. So, they all obviously know me very, very well. I think I have to be his biggest customer. I can't imagine he has anybody else that. Thank you, Jujubee. I can't imagine that my vet has customers that have as many cats as I do. Usually, and I hate to say this because people always freak out when you tell them you have 15 cats, and actually I had 19. but 4 of my cats have died in the last 2 years. And I haven't gotten any more because I would kind of like to get the number down, so I'm not replacing them when they die. I mean, obviously, if somebody came to me in an emergency, and there was a cat that was in desperate need that was going to be put to sleep, I would probably take it. But my house is big enough for all of us. It's just me and the cats, and I live in a Victorian. It's a 2.5-story Victorian, so the cats have plenty of room. People are always like, 15 cats. It's like, yeah, so it's like, they don't go outside or anything, and they sleep all day. When people come over, they see maybe 3 or 4 of them. The rest of them are all sleeping, so you would never know. If I didn't tell you I had 15 cats, you'd never have any idea. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, they keep calling it a meet and greet. And, I noticed some weird things. I think they went back and trimmed parts out of some of their videos. Because I noticed, and I talk about this in the video I'm going to put up tonight, but, they stopped talking about the wild animal park or whatever it was. And I know for a fact, and I think I may have a clip of one of their earlier videos about the Ace Fest where they say it, but I remember Kathleen talking about the animals. And I noticed when I went back to the video where they first announced, where they said they were leaving YouTube bullshit, and it was all of a sudden it was just chopped up. The cuts are like really drastic, and I swear to God they went back, because you can go back into, it's called YouTube Studio after you've uploaded your video. And you can make you can't like make major changes, but you can like trim out parts and do small things like that. And I swear to God, they went back and trimmed some of their videos, because there's no mention anymore of all of the animals in any of the videos. And I know they talked about it. I know they did. I'm positive. I know I'm not crazy. I'm going to go back and look and see if I can find that video clip. I think I'll look in my video folder where I put all the clips that I use and see if it is there. Hey, Tracy, thank you for that. Yeah, Pinky, it's like, they're like, I always tell people they're like kids, literally, so they all get treated very well, and they all go to the vet. Thank you, Chelly. They all go to the vet. If I even suspect there's the slightest thing that might be wrong, I take them right to the vet. Because it's like, I've had so many cats over the years that, have developed illnesses, and, you get so worried that you're going to miss something, because cats are really good at hiding when they're sick. So if you don't pick up on something and you wait too long, they, if they've got, something that's cancer or some other problem, that it's just it's too late by the time you realize it. Hey, Julie, thank you very much. I really appreciate you. Yeah, we'll do the next one at an earlier time. I think I think it will be better. Because I honestly think it really has to do something with this being like peak time for people who have just gotten home from work. Oh, here's Edith. Edith is here. Come here, Edith. Edith is here. There's little Edith. Edith is very, she's a runt. She's a little chubby right now, but not that chubby, but she's a little runt. And when she was a kitten, she was so tiny. I could literally hold her and her sister with one hand. I could pick them both up in one hand. And they were really sick when I got them. And Edith, I think her growth was stunted, but she's like, next to Sybil, she's the second bossiest cat in the house. She'll walk up to Gilles, my 3-legged cat, and he weighs like 20 pounds. She'll walk straight up to his face, and she goes, mew, and she goes, smack. And he just runs because he's so afraid of her. It's so funny because she's just like, I think she compensates for her size, but they're terrified of her. But if I go into the kitchen and I shut the door because I have a French door on my kitchen, and my cat Chloe stays in there because she was a feral cat and she just kind of doesn't really like she doesn't like sharing with the other cats, so she kind of has the big kitchen and there's a bathroom off of there, and that's like her domain where she sits and she watches the birds all day because I have bird feeders out my sliding glass door. But she Edith, if I go in the kitchen, shut the door, Edith will come and she will try to like open the door with her paws, and she'll sit there and go meow meow. She's got this tiny little meow. Why no cat stickers? Oh, I think there was an issue with. I think I had to have like so many subscribers before I could do stickers, egg rolls. So I'll look because I think I have enough now. But they wouldn't let me do like special stickers and things, which I thought was really bizarre. But yeah, I agree, Mrs. Morris. It's like it's all about whether your house is clean, you clean the litter boxes. It's like my cats are all clearly well fed. I brush them. I change and let me tell you, I've got a lot of litter boxes, but I change the litter boxes every day. And actually, you know what is really sick is that I think I spend more on cat litter every week than I do on cat food, because that stupid scoopable litter is so freaking expensive. And I usually get the lightweight one because with as many cats as I do, I fill up, like every time I do it, I fill up one of those small garbage bags. And it gets so heavy if you don't get the lightweight one. But it's just obscene. I think the pet food industry and the pet supply industry is just, it's like the cosmetic industry. It's just, the markup is so ridiculous. Yeah, I know, Chelly, they said they'd have a petting zoo, right? And then they've taken it off of their marketing materials and they don't talk about it anymore. Amanderness, yes, there are cats who don't get along. Most of my cats, it's not, they don't fight like fight, but they're like, seriously, they're like siblings. There's ones that will antagonize each other. But it's so funny because like Sybil hates all the other cats because she wants to be the center of attention 24 hours a day. And if I give attention to one of the other cats, she's really funny. She literally has different voices for her moods, and like I always know like if she's pouting, she has a little voice she uses. I know if she's mad at me. I can just always tell what's wrong. But Sybil gets so jealous. But it's so funny because when she wants to lay down and sleep, and when she wants to or go to bed at night, she loves. Oh, here, she heard me. She's back. She likes to be warm, and she'll sleep. Like I have a little portable heater, even though my house isn't cold. But I put this little, one of those little, like, they look like a radiator heaters, and there's a couple of cat beds in my office here, and she'll lay there, and the other cats will come. But when she's ready to go to sleep, she doesn't care if she hates the cat's guts. She'll lay either right against them or right on top of them to get the warmth out of them. It's so funny. But yes, they do bicker. They bicker like siblings. The only cat that is really, really does not like the other cats is Chloe, my cat I was just talking about, that basically her domain is the kitchen and bathroom. And she likes it. She likes it that way. She likes it that way. I have a TV in there. I put on YouTube videos of birds and things, but I go in there at night when I eat. I go in and I sit with her, and I eat in the kitchen with her, and we watch TV. But she hates other cats. She was feral. She was caught in a trap and had to have one of her toes amputated, and she had to have 2 surgeries because the first surgery didn't work. But when I got her, and I think I told this story when I introduced her, because I introduced her in one of my videos a long time ago, but she was a feral cat. She had been injured, as I said. When I got her, she was so mean and nasty that if I even got near her, she would literally attack me and draw blood. She would scratch the hell out of me. And I had her for like, I think it was 2 days. And it was the first time I ever said, I've got to send her back. I can't do this. I just can't do this. You know, with all the cats in this house, I just can't deal with having a cat like this. It's the worst cat I've ever had. However, of course, my conscience got the better of me, and I did not sleep at all that night. And I tossed and turned, and I said, you know, I can't send her back because I saved her from being, like a lot of my cats, I saved her from being euthanized. Because I knew she was a difficult cat. I just didn't realize how bad she was. And I said, you know, if I send her back, they're just going to kill her because nobody's going to want to take her. So I said, you know, I made the commitment. I'm not going to send her back. So I kept her, and I slowly spent time, you know, at a distance with her, working with her. And now, you know, I go into the kitchen and she stands up and she wants me to pick her up. And when I pick her up, she won't let me put her down. And she's just turned in, she's the sweetest cat. And she loves to sit with me, and she loves me to pick her up. And it just goes to show you that, you know, patience. A lot of people get frustrated when they adopt a cat. You know, I adopted a cat once, and people returned it because the cat hid under the chair in the living room for like 5 days straight. And I was like, you know, I'm sorry, I keep brushing my face because Sybil's shedding, and I keep brushing her. And even though she's a short hair, it like sticks to my face. But they had returned this little cat. Her name was Lulu, and I loved her. She was the best little cat in the world. And they returned her because she was hiding under the chair. It was like, well, you got to have some patience. It's going to take a few weeks for her to get comfortable. You know, people, it's like, these aren't toys. You know, you don't bring them home and they instantly love you and they're sleeping in your bed with you. You know, they don't know you. They don't know who you are or what you're like until they spent time with you. Not going to trust you right away. So it's like, you know, you just got to have patience. You have to have patience. Oh, Kara, yeah, I know. There's just, you know, some cats are like my cat, Sammy. She's really sweet. She was the other feral cat that I adopted. Actually, I have a few that were feral, but most of them really didn't have any issues after they got accustomed to the house. But my cat, Sammy, was a feral cat. And when I got her, she would draw blood anytime I tried to touch her. You know, now at nighttime, after I've gone to bed, she'll come and she quietly gets into the bed, and she... Oh, did it? Is there one? Oh, maybe they activated my supers finally. I think I have enough followers now or subscribers that they activated them. But I remember, you know, a few months ago when I started to, you know, set things up that I couldn't use supers. So I probably do. So thank you, Chelly, for pointing that out. But Sammy now will quietly come and she'll get into bed and she lies right alongside me. And it's so funny because, you know, when I first got her, I never pictured her because she is so, yeah, you can hear her. You can't see her probably, but she's right here and like standing on my leg. And yeah, she's near the microphone. She really purrs loud. People have commented a bunch of times that they can hear her in the videos. I'm like, you can hear her? You know, it's like, she's like, I'm like way over here and I can't believe you can hear her purr. But, yeah, she's definitely the queen bee. She's the boss. She's the boss. And she, you know, she never gains an ounce. She's the only cat I think I've ever had that literally her weight never changes. You know, and she eats. It's not like she doesn't eat, and she loves treats. So, but Edith has a sister, Mary, who isn't usually around when I'm on video, and I'm looking to see. She was down here earlier today. I put down a new carpet, and I think they really like the carpet in this room. So this room is like my library slash office. So I love books. I've always loved books, and I collect like old um, French books. You know, with like the old leather bindings with like the gold stamp on them. And I've gone to France a lot of times. Like I think I've been to France like 15 times. But I always search like in all the little stores where they sell like odds and ends and little in like not the expensive antique stores, but just sort of like the junk shops. And whenever I see one of those bindings, I pick it up. And sometimes you can pick them up really really cheap. But I love to collect them. And then every winter, what I do is I have this special stuff that I think the Morgan Library in New York City created, and it's to keep the bindings conditioned so they don't dry out in the wintertime. And I every winter that's like I'll sit and watch TV and I just treat all the books, and it takes me a few days to get through all the books. But so it's actually the living room, but it's not really a living room anymore because I've really turned it into a library because there's so many bookcases in here. And I put my desk is in here and my computer equipment. There is a TV in here, but I call it the library now because it's not really a living room. I actually rather prefer to watch TV in my bedroom, and I have a really big TV in my bedroom because I spend so much time like at night watching TV up there. But yeah, they love the carpet. I don't know how long it's gonna last. I have to replace my carpet like once a year. And I have hardwood floors because with this many cats, you could not have hardwood floor. I have no wall to wall carpeting in my house. When I moved in, it's an old Victorian, but it had been updated. But luckily, they didn't like ruin any of the details. But they had carpeted this off-white wall-to-wall carpet, starting at the bottom of the stairs and all through the entire upstairs, except for the bathroom upstairs. All the bedrooms, the hallway, everything. And when I came to look at the house, when I was looking at it to buy it, when I walked upstairs, I could tell that there were wood floors because it's one of those houses where, they just carpeted over the wood floor. So the day after I signed for the house, I came with big workman's gloves and a mask and a bunch of contractor's bags, and I ripped all of the upstairs carpet out and I sliced it all up and bagged it up. And then I paid some guy to come, and for like $500, he did the entire upstairs, and now it's beautiful. I have all the original hardwood floors, even in my kitchen, all through the house. It's all original. But with cats like this, I mean, cats, they throw up, they shed. You can't have wall-to-wall carpeting. It's just a nightmare. It would be so dirty. But the cats, what they do is even though I yell at them, they will claw on the carpet. So, after like 6 months, it starts to show. So I don't buy, it's a nice rug, but I don't spend a fortune on rugs because, once a year I end up having to throw it out and get a new one. And I love to internet shop. Like I love to find a bargain. I will never pay full price for anything. I look and compare prices and find all the closeouts and all of the sites where they have like the outlet pricing. Oh, well, you can make your tea. I've got my tea right here. I bought this at a craft fair last summer by a woman who makes local pottery, and it's I don't know if you can tell on the video, but it's holds a lot. Like it holds I think it's like 16 ounces. And I love it because I hate small cups and I hate regular coffee cups, and it's sort of got a tapered top so that the tea stays hotter longer. I stopped drinking coffee because coffee sometimes it gives me a really sour stomach. Not that you need to know that, but and I do love tea, so I just started drinking tea, and I just stopped drinking coffee. And the only time I get coffee is I'll get a latte if I have to go to court. Most of the hearings we're doing are still on Zoom, but I do have to go frequently to in-person hearings now because some of the courts have started having you come back in. So the only time I'll get coffee is I'll get a latte on my way to court because I usually have to drive for an hour. So Yeah, Laffy Taffy. It's like it's so funny. It's like I made some videos about the Ace family last fall, and Fleur and B the commentator had used clips of my video, and then a bunch of people for some reason picked up on Fleur's video, and Fleur was kind of new. I mean, she was like brand new, and she used a clip of me, which of course I love it when people do that because it's just exposure for me. So I'm happy to have people use clips, but for some reason people picked up and they included that clip of me in her video that she had, and I thought, oh great, I'm getting but nobody mentioned my name, even though I think my name was like on the video screen. And all of a sudden I saw her subscribers go like way up. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I didn't get any, much of a bounce at all out of that. So this last time around when everybody started putting the clips on, I was really happy because people were talking about me by name. And so that's great, So, I mean, not that it's huge, but hey, I'm happy because, yeah, I got monetized at 1,000, which is what you have to have, and you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. But I mean, and again, people have this misconception that like a lot of people who leave comments that aren't very positive will say things like I'm making money off of the ACM. Like, are you kidding me? Do you know how little you have to have like, hundreds of thousands of followers before this can become anywhere near being a full-time job? I make very little bit. It's like, maybe enough to gas my car up once a week, So, but yes, it's all of a sudden now it's starting to trickle in, and I like it. And I hope, and, Sloan's been very encouraging to me. I talk to him a lot, and he's given me some tips, and, he's kind of given me some guidance that I really appreciate. And he's a really, really, I'm very happy about that, And I'm really pissed off at the Ace family because what pissed them off is people are saying the word scam, scammer, scam, and they hate it. So they like sent out these cease and desist letters telling people that, oh, your video is causing them to, is hurting their reputation, and it's caused their ticket sales to slow down. And that's when I was like, wait a minute. How is the ticket sales slowing down when the videos came out after they were sold out? So that's when I knew for sure. I mean, we knew that they were gaming the numbers and manipulating the numbers on the ticket sales because of those numbers that somebody had given me. But, I was like, there you go. Their own attorney just confirmed the fact that they did not sell out and they are not sold out. And so they basically are deceiving people by saying they're sold out. And it just pisses me off. But like I said, I'm going to upload a video later, you guys. And let me tell you, I really show you like the reason why they really are, I think, in danger of some legal problems because of the way they've promoted this. And I think that they're so stupid that they did not consult with an attorney. And I say this to some of my clients. Why do you do things before you and I do civil litigation. Why do you do anything before you ask us, whether it's okay? I have so many people that get into trouble, my clients who will get into trouble because they're, their businesses, and they will it says offline. Is everyone showing offline? Oh, okay, good. So it came back on. Okay, good. Yeah, I honestly, I think it really is this time of the day. I think this time of the day is really bad. Yeah, I do like Fleur a lot, and I've messaged her a couple of times, and I appreciate, like I said, I appreciate the shout out. It's really awesome, um, and it's just the cats are bouncing off the walls because it's that time of the day where we're between dinner and bed, and they know that like before bed they get treats, and so they will like literally drive me bananas until it's actually time to bed and they get their treats. So right now they're like all, and here comes Sybil again. They're all either sleeping or causing trouble. So Edith is in the dining room right now, and I heard something that sounded like China, so I think she's not on the floor. But they usually don't break anything, so I usually leave them alone. But yeah, Mrs. Morris, 20,000. That's really great. I'm looking forward to going over 10,000. We're almost there. I'm almost to 8,000. It's like they trickle in a little at a time, and hopefully the video I do tonight. Usually these, and people always say, "Oh, why do you do so many videos about the Ace family?" It's like, well, because people watch them. You know, it's like when I do videos about other things, I get now, especially now that I'm getting more subscribers, they do get a decent viewing, but nothing like when I do these Ace family videos. So it's like so I keep trying to put in videos about other stuff and mix it in. So I'm hoping that eventually the numbers will catch up because I don't like just doing videos about the Ace family. I mean, yeah, they're like I keep saying, the gift that keeps on giving, but I like to write about other stuff too, or talk about other stuff too, because the Ace family, to be honest with you, they annoy the hell out of me. But I do like to talk about them when they do something that I think is wrong. And I think tonight I'm going to be talking in the video about... hey! Sorry, guys. Who's doing what? Edith! Edith is such a bully. She's chasing Cedric around. She's like such a bully. But it's like you would never know it because she's so sweet. At least to me, she's so sweet. But like I said, she can be. She puts them in their place. She doesn't care how big the cat is compared to her. But yeah, so I know I do a lot of videos about the Ace family, but until the numbers keep getting up there, it's hard for me to do stuff about other people, because when I do, or at least before we got I'm doing better now, like I said, with the numbers, but back a few months ago, if I did something that wasn't about the Ace family, I would get like a fraction of the views that I got on stuff about the Ace family. So that's why I whenever something comes up, I do a video about the Ace family, because I know it's going to get views and it's going to help push the numbers up. Because every time I do one about them, I get subscribers. So I apologize if it gets a little monotonous, but I think maybe you can see that I'm starting to mix in videos about other stuff too, because I don't want to just be the Ace family T channel. And like I'd like to get to the point like Sloan is at, where it doesn't matter what he does, people watch it. Yeah, Edith is very rowdy, Kara. She is I think she wants treats and bed, and she's just in the mood right now. So anybody that comes across her path, she's giving them a little bit of a chase. And she'll go right at them. It's so funny to watch. And then Sybil will only smack another cat if it gets too close to me. Like, she won't aggressively go after a cat because she's really small. But if at nighttime when I'm watching TV in bed, she comes and lays right next to me, and like a bunch of the cats come and lay next to me too. That's why even though I live on my own, I have a king size bed because the cats. I used to have queen size beds and it just wasn't big enough because any of you that have cats know that they like to hog the bed. So I finally gave in and bought a king size bed so that there's enough room for the cats. They don't all sleep on the bed, but a lot of them sleep on the bed. Enough to the point where I think I had to get a bigger bed so they could spread out a little bit and give me enough room to sleep. Taylor, no, I'm planning on disguising my appearance. Like, I normally wear glasses, so but I don't need them for like close up, and I actually don't need them like if it's daylight out. I really don't need them, except like at night when I'm driving. I don't like I can't wear them to read, otherwise it's just too it gets blurry because my vision's pretty good close. But I normally wear glasses when I'm outside, and there are other things I'll do. Like I may not wear a hat. I'll probably like color my hair, and I'll just find I'll do some stuff to make it so that it's obviously not me. It's not obviously me, and that's what I'm planning to do when I go there. So I don't think they'll be able to tell who I am, honestly, especially if I like have sunglasses on and no hat. Chris, I have 15 cats now. And I was telling people earlier that I had 19 was the most I ever had, but over the past 2.5 years, 4 of them have died. So I've chosen not to get any more because as much as I love having this many cats, I am planning at some point I would like to actually move overseas to eventually retire at some point. And so I'd like over the years for the cats to kind of come down in numbers so that if I do move somewhere, I don't have to worry about being able to bring all of my cats, because that's obviously my biggest consideration. Thanks, egg roll. Yeah, and this their attorney, who I won't tell you who he is, but he works for an entertainment law firm, and he is he's definitely a high profile person. He's not like famous, but he's like he works with high profile people, and I just like when I heard what they were writing to people, I just got so angry because it was like, you people have some nerve telling people that they're hurting your reputation and that they're slowing down your sales. It's like, are you serious? It's like it's not like we're reporting stuff we just made up. I mean, we're talking about all the crap they do and why it's not right. So, I'm sorry if you don't like it, but if they threaten to sue me, I just give them a middle finger and say, go ahead. I'm a lawyer. Go ahead, sue me. And when when we get to court and I'm able to, I don't know if any of you are familiar with court procedures, but in lawsuits, we do what's called discovery, and it's when you can request answers to questions and you can request copies of documents. And I would love to get a hold of their financial records. If they said I was hurting their business, I would love to get a hold of all their records and see what they're doing with their money and how their Ace Fest sales really were going down. And then I would end up having counterclaims against them, and I would win, and then they could pay me, although I know they never pay me because they don't have any money. Yeah, it's millennial. It's I would shoot a letter back off to them so fast if I got one of those letters. I don't think I'm big enough for them to send me one at this point, but although I am kind of surprised because of all the coverage that I got, but they're targeting like big follower YouTubers, and it's like, really, you guys, if I get one of those letters, I'll be shooting off a response so fast to them, and there's no way I would ever bow to what they want. So yeah, Kira, it's not so much because of them dying, believe me. And I have all my, not to be morbid, but all of my cats are cremated, and I have them all. I always get really nice custom made urns for them, or sometimes they're like wooden, sometimes they're other things. Like sometimes I buy antique, like little antique jewelry boxes that lock, and I'll put them in there. But I have all of my cats, and believe me, I've had a lot of cats in my life, but I'm not. It's not the hurt. It's the fact that if I decide to move somewhere, like I've been thinking about eventually moving to Malta. If you're familiar, any of you are familiar with Malta, it's in the Mediterranean off the southern coast of Italy, and it's an independent country. But if you ever heard of the Maltese Falcon or the Knights of Malta, it's a really beautiful place, and I've never been there. And I've never really knew a whole lot about it. I mean, I kind of knew a little bit about the story, like of the knights that were there and stuff, but I didn't realize it, and I'm sure nobody who's not familiar with it knows, but their second official language is English. So everybody speaks English. All the signs are in English. I was like, wow, because I had bought an old rundown house in France that I want to fix up, that it needs to be renovated on the inside. And I picked it, believe it or not, you can get property in some parts of France for next to nothing. And so I picked up a few years ago this house for very little money. And I figured, someday I'm going to renovate it and I'll move there. And, I'm half French. So I thought, that'd be great. But I don't speak French fluently. So it is it's weird because French people have they're not, people say, oh, they're rude. They're not really rude. They just are like French Flanders, what it is now. Although they don't use that anymore because the French want everybody the land that they took over, everyone to be like French. Even though my ancestors probably spoke French and Flemish, but the people up north are really different. It's like so completely different attitude. They're so friendly, and they're so open and welcoming, and they drink more beer than they do wine up there because of that Flemish connection. So they're not, people aren't all the same. It's all parts of France aren't the same. And somebody had said, yeah, Paris, where I've been a lot of times, yes, they are rude, but it's like, I don't think it's any different than being in a big city in the US. I think because they're French, we kind of equate that rudeness with the fact that they're French, but I think it's just because it's a big metropolis and there are a lot of people living there. I don't think it's just because they're French that they're rude. I think they're rude because they live in a big city. But yeah, I've been all over France, and I like the people in the north where my father's family comes from, and I love the Mediterranean. I don't like, some of the creepy crawlies that they have in the Mediterranean, but I like the weather in the Mediterranean. But the part of France where my house is like over towards the west coast of France, like on the edge of like Brittany and Normandy. And I like that area because it has sort of a microclimate, so it doesn't get as cold in the winter. It gets cold, but it's not like freezing. And it's also a very big agricultural area, so there's all kinds of like fresh produce all the time, and all kinds of stuff to see. Like it's close to like where all the big chateau are, and there's a lot to see and do there. And the train system is really good over there. They have all the high speed trains, so you can go anywhere you want. Taint of Cartman. Well, that's an interesting name. You're from Montpellier. I haven't been there, but I have been. I'm trying to remember. There were some really small towns I went to, and of course I went to like Marseille and Cannes and Saint Tropez and places like that. Will I be making wine? No, I won't be. I actually don't drink alcohol, so my sister might. She and my brother-in-law are big wine connoisseurs. So, whenever we've been in France, they always have to go to a winery. But yeah, I've done. I don't know if any of you are into genealogy, but like I've done my ancestry for both of my parents. Again, sorry, I'm pushing at my clawing at my face because Sybil's hair is flying around. But I do genealogy, and I've traced like all my ancestors. And I have a friend who is from France. He's actually from like the southeast part of France, and he's kind of a, he's one of these people. It's not because he's French, but he's like he kind of has a big opinion of himself. And when I first met him, I tried to like talk a little French with him, and of course I can read French pretty fluently, but my conversational French is pretty crappy. And so I tried to talk French with him, and he was like really kind of uppity to me. And so what I did, a good size Sephardic Jewish community, and then what happened was they converted to Christianity. So I would have no idea because their religion, as far as I know, was Catholic based on the records. But when I saw the last name, I said, that's got to be it, because Paulo, and I looked it up, and it turns out that it is a Sephardic Jewish surname. And I said, that is definitely not French surname. I've seen a lot of strange French surnames, but I know Paulo isn't a French surname. Mrs. Morris, thanks for joining. I'm sorry about the glitching. I think we're going to do it next time. We'll do it earlier in the day. Egg roll. My sister-in-law, my ex-sister-in-law now, but she also was adopted, and she's actually found her birth family through DNA, genealogy DNA, and like she learned so much about her ancestry because obviously she knew nothing, and she didn't know her parents' names because the records were all sealed, but she did genetic genealogy, and because of now there's so many people that have done it that she found relatives in the database, and she actually was able to find her birth mother, and they actually have developed a relationship, which is nice because both of her adopted parents are dead. Her mother died really young, and her father was a little bit older, so he died a while back. So she really didn't have a lot of close family, and so this has been great for her. Yeah, I know that the genetic insurance, they do two different kinds of tests. You can pay to have a test done that is for just the ancestry part, and then they have like all the health stuff. And I said, I'm not going to do the health one because I really am kind of leery, like talking about the insurance. I really am kind of leery, and even though I have no, like have technology and things doesn't scare me, and like I said, I did the genetic DNA when it was brand new. I wasn't afraid to do it, but the more sophisticated it gets, I am kind of worried about what would happen if they get a hold of your health profile and they know that you're susceptible to some things. I thought, well, that's kind of scary. I don't want health insurance or any other kind of insurance to suddenly have the ability to make decisions based on what you could develop. my ancestors all came to North America a long, 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 long time ago. So, there's some truth to the saying about survival of the fittest. So, like a lot of the weaker people died off. So I've got a lot of longevity in my family. So I'm not too afraid of developing anything major, but I really don't want to know, like, not only because I don't want anybody else to get a hold of the information, but what if you have a test where you have a gene and where you could possibly get something, but you never end up getting it? It's like, why do you want to put that kind of stress on yourself where you're always constantly worrying that you're going to develop a problem? It's like, I think I just don't want to know and just take good care of myself. But I do love doing the ancestry part. I think it's very fascinating to see how they break it down. And some people get really, like, I wasn't at all surprised. I was actually kind of disappointed because my results were exactly what I thought they were going to be. But I've seen so many people where they're shocked because they get the results and like, I'm what? It's like, yeah, you never know. You never know. So, Sybil is like stuck to me now. She's, what time is it? 7, almost 7:30. Yeah, Sybil will stay glued to me now until bedtime because she wants to go to bed. She would go to bed right now if I went to bed, but it's way too early for me. I don't know where you guys are, but it's 7:30 here, and it's, even though sometimes I like to go to bed early, this is too early. Yes, I agree, Janelle. You do need to try, and that's why I do. Like, wherever I've been, and I've been to a lot of places, I always try to use some of the local language, because I know there are a lot of, there are not a lot, but there are Americans that go overseas and they get annoyed because everybody doesn't speak English. It's like, well, when people come here to America and they speak Spanish or French, do you think that they should expect that we're all going to speak Spanish and French to them? It's like, I don't know Spanish, so good luck with that. But, we can't have the expectations of people that we wouldn't put on ourselves. So I think you should never go overseas and expect people to speak your language. It's good if you're going somewhere that has a big tourist industry, because a lot of times things are in English. Like, I went to Russia by myself once back. Oh, it was a while back. Certainly not while Vladimir Putin has been president, but back in the day when the Soviet Union had broken apart, and I went, and I don't speak Russian. I can't even read their alphabet. And I was like, you know what? I want to go. I'm going to go. Nobody wanted to go with me, so I went by myself. And I had a really good time. I met people who were extremely friendly. I found what's really sad to me is, in reality, most Russians are very, very nice people who are welcoming. And I was actually surprised because when I was growing up and in school and stuff, we learned that, Russians hate us. And I was so shocked to find out that they didn't hate us, that actually people were fascinated to hear me talk about the United States, because, under the Soviet Union, they controlled a lot of what they read and learned. They didn't even know their own history very well, because that's how much they blocked out of, the pre-Soviet Union days. So I actually knew more about Russian history than people I met who were Russian. So I was very surprised by that. But, so I think it's all relative. When you go abroad, you've got to expect that you have to make an effort to adopt to the culture that you're visiting. And as long as you don't go and be arrogant and be one of these stereotypical Americans who are, for those of you who are American, who just are rude and crass and expect everybody to speak English, if you make even just a little bit of effort, they're all going to be very appreciative, and they will treat you have a lot more respect for you, because you're not just expecting them to adapt to your culture, but you're trying to fit in with theirs. So, anyways, how's the money coming? Joette. We're 2/3 of the way to the goal. So, I'll mention it again in the video I'm going to put up tonight, and hopefully we get a few more donations. But we're getting close, and so I did reserve a hotel. I told people earlier, because I'm expecting that maybe we're going to make it almost to the goal, and I'll be able to go anyway. I actually was going to go for 3 days, and I cut it down to 2 because really, I'm going by myself. So, and I actually, honestly, I used to live in LA a long, long time ago when I was younger. And so it's not like there's a lot I want to see there. And I've been back there many times, so I'm not going to be a tourist. So I'm really just going to, I didn't want to make it. My mother was like, "Oh, why don't you fly and then come back on the red eye the same day?" I'm like, "Are you crazy? I'm not flying out there and coming back on the red eye just to spend the afternoon in Los Angeles. I'll be dead by the time." So it's like, I'll get there in the afternoon on a Thursday. I'll stay overnight. I'll have Friday to adjust and, relax for a day, and then I'll go to the Ace Fest, and then I'm taking the red eye home that night back. So I'm only staying 2 nights. I also don't like to be away. Honestly, I don't like to be away from the cats a lot. I always get worried about leaving them. Even when people are checking in on them for me, I get really worried. But yeah, it's Snazzy Channel. I was telling people earlier that I had somebody who claimed to be the guy who was organizing the Soul Fest and say, "Oh, this is news to me that they're piggybacking." And I was like, first of all, I think somebody was trolling me. But second, I was like, how could you expect people to believe there isn't something going on when you've just changed your hours? You had published and sold tickets for your hours a certain way, and then you took and dramatically changed your hours so they were identical to the Ace Fest. Don't tell me that there's nothing going on there. I'm sorry, but there is something going on there. Joette, also, I bought a little, I forget what it's called, DJI, I think it is. It's a really good quality, but it's a really tiny little camera on a stick, and it fits right in your pocket. So I'm going to be using that, and you can use it for live streaming. I made sure before I bought it, so that I can live stream. And then I'm planning to alter my appearance as much as I can. The tickets, I think I am going to buy the other festival. I really don't want to give the Ace family $100. And I don't need to meet them. I certainly don't want to meet them. But if they're in the same space, I'm sure I'll be able to check out the whole thing enough. And I don't want to go on their rides. God only knows the temporary rides that they set up for those things. I'm always kind of skeptical of safety reasons. I know they get inspected, but it's like, I don't really want to ride the rides. I had somebody say to me, "Oh, you're just going out there to have fun at the Ace Fest." I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? I'm not going to what? To hang out with a bunch of kids who are devoted Ace family fans? You think that's going to be fun to have all those screaming kids around and ride the rides? I'm not riding those rides. So what do you think I'm going to do? It's like, I'm going out there just to get this in July in the desert, It's like, really? You think July in the desert on a short trip like that, at my age, you think I'm going out there to have fun? No, it's not fun. It's not going to be fun. I promise you I'm not going to have fun. But I wanted to do it because I really want to get a firsthand view of what's going on. And see, because I just know it's going to be a shit show. And I really want to get that on film, and give you guys a first-hand account of what's really going on out there instead of what they're going to put up on video. So anyway, so it looks like the quality is not too bad right now, I think. There's something I want to shut off here, though. My virus is running in the background, it said now, and I don't want it to. So I'm going to try to shut it off. Not shut it off, but stop it from doing anything. There, yeah, I think that's good. Hey, J-Man. Yes, Snazzy Channel, I like a dumpster fire with receipts too, which is why I do this. And I also like to, I like when there are legal issues that come up too, like when they were getting sued and stuff was going on. I really like that stuff. J-Man, it seems to be functioning. I was telling everybody earlier that I think I'm going to try the next time to do it earlier in the day. Because Sybil is omnipresent, and she will not. If I'm home, she will not leave my side. So she's funny. She's a good cat. She's really good, and she's 14 now. I can't believe she's 14, and I just keep thinking, oh God, I don't want her to get older because, I just hope her health is really good. So I hope she lives a long time. But I get really. People always ask me, I love all the cats, but yes, I do have I hate to say favorites, but I have ones that my bond is, maybe stronger with, and Sybil is one of them, and Olivier, the one I call Squirt, the black and white one, he's the other one that I'm really close to. So, but he's younger. So I always get really uptight now that she's in her teens, because it's like, oh God, please don't let anything happen. Because it's even harder to lose the ones that you're really close to. But I interact with all of them every day, so nobody gets neglected. We have a bond. When I say bond, I don't mean that I don't have a bond with the others. It's just, some of them are kind of like to be on their own, or they only like to interact a little bit during the day, but then I have the ones who like want to be on top of me all day long, so yes, I'm live. Did somebody think I'm not live? You have two pit bulls. My sister runs, just full disclosure, you guys, that cat and dog rescue in Georgia, that's actually my sister's cat and dog rescue. And just so there's full disclosure too, she doesn't get a dime from it. She actually does it full time and literally does not pay herself. She, in fact, donates a lot of her resources to the rescue. She's lucky that she can do that. I'm not as lucky as she is, but she loves it, and she rescues so many cats and dogs down in the South. The animals are not, and I hate to say it, but some of them, people in the South, do not treat their animals the same way that other people treat their animals. And so there are some particularly sad stories that she comes across. And she actually ended up getting her own transport van, and she sends a lot of up to not far from where I am. She sends a lot of dogs and cats, like 60 every month up here, and she's doing God's work. She really is. And so that's why I said if I raised more, I was going to send it, donate it to her rescue, because she puts a lot of her own personal finances into it, and she works it full time, and she's got volunteers that work with her. So anyway, so that's why I chose that. Someone said, "Do you live in Macon, Georgia?" I said, "No, I don't live in Macon, Georgia. My sister lives in Macon, Georgia." But anyways, yeah, egg roll. My sister is a saint. When she first started doing this, she used to work for IBM, and she had a really good job, but she married a guy who happens to come from a prominent family down there, and so she was very lucky that she can. She also was flipping houses for a while, so it's not like she's not a housewife. I promise you that. But eventually, this thing took over her. Your brother put your cat down with a crossbow? Oh my god. Oh my god. J-Man, but what I was going to say is when my sister first started doing this, she actually was on NPR because she was paying out of her own pocket to spay and neuter cats and dogs in Macon, Georgia for anybody that couldn't afford it, that was willing to get it done. And she had like a mobile vet van, and she had a vet that was working with her who was giving her, a really good deal. And so she literally spayed and neutered all these cats and dogs for people who couldn't afford it. So yeah, I have 15 rescues, but she does God's work. Will I be here in 30 minutes? Yeah, I might be. I do have to eat dinner at some point. She was killing the animals rather than saving them? Who is that? Who was killing animals? Moonchild, who was killing animals? If not, you're not talking about my sister, right? Wouldn't kill an animal in her life. I'm glad to hear that, J-Man, because yeah, I get really upset when I hear about animal cruelty. It really resonates with me, something fierce, and I get so angry that I would like to kill people that abuse animals. It's like what it takes a really shitty person to hurt an animal when they're vulnerable. Oh, the manager of the Humane Society? Oh my god. Those people, they're like, it's like the cats that I adopted from New York. New York Animal Control is horrible. And oh, okay, Moochild, that's fine. I wondered. I was like, I hope she's not talking about my sister. She wouldn't kill any animals. She's like me. She would spend every last dime to save one of hers. But yeah, the animal control in New York is like a mill for killing animals, and I have to not pay attention because there are people, they post them on Facebook. They're like their kill lists every day, and I can't look at them anymore because that's how I ended up with 19 cats. I took some of the worst ones that they couldn't find rescues. Like they do, I know this group of people that I'm connected to, and they end up placing a lot of these cats, and there's been a few times when the cats were, they were either too old or they had health problems and they were going to literally be put to sleep. And, I would get a frantic call, oh, she's got 4 hours left and then they're going to kill her. And I was like, oh God. So I would take them if they were in really, really dire straits. But, now I just can't because, I would end up being one of those people on TV with hoarding. With a house full of cats, with 50 cats living here. So I just told them, I said, please don't call me. I said, I understand, but I can't save them all. And, I don't want to get to the point where I can't provide the best care for my cats. So I don't want to have so many that I end up having to cut corners with them. So I just have to just get on with my life and know that I can't save them all. And that's the key to it. You just have to know you can't save them all. So you're listening in your car. Oh, you're in your car now? Yeah, I hate, when I lived in LA, I only lived there for a year, but it was like the traffic was literally horrible. And that's how I learned how to be a patient driver. That was the upside of it. I learned how to be patient because you literally could not do anything about it. Traffic was everywhere. It was on the city streets. It was on the highways. It was everywhere. It was a fact of life, and you just had to learn to chill out and deal with it. So now it's like when I'm in traffic, in the Northeast here where I live, it doesn't bother me because I just, put on the radio and or listen to an audiobook and just chill out and realize that it's part of life. You can't do anything about it. So, yeah, no, I understand, Jamie, and I figured the cat probably was sick, but it's like a crossbow is. It's just it's just the method that upset me. It's not the fact that the cat had to be put down, but yeah, and it's oh god, it's so hard to make that decision. Yeah, LA drivers, yeah, they although Kira, the one good thing about LA that I can say is if you step off the sidewalk in LA, even if you're jaywalking, they all stop. So that's the one good thing, because up in the Northeast where I live, you step off the sidewalk, you better just realize you took your life into your hands because they're not going to stop. So, but oh, lucky you, Snazzy Channel. Yeah, I can imagine. When you live on islands like that, and they get populated to the level that Hawaii has in Honolulu, I'm sure it's terrible. I would like to live in a place where I didn't need a car, or I could have like a Vespa or something, and not have to deal with it. I went to Greece a long time ago, and I stayed in Athens for a week, and holy God, the traffic and the dirt, and it was just so filthy. But obviously there are so many beautiful things to see in Greece, and I love archaeology, so I was thrilled to be there. But the motorcycles and the cars, it just was like, and they just drive like maniacs. So it's like I don't think I could ever drive in Greece. I think I would be so nervous. But I've only driven in France a couple of times, and luckily they do drive on the right. So, but supposedly one of the worst intersections in France is around the Arc de Triomphe in Paris, where all these roads converge. And I had to drive through there, and I actually did it. I did fine, but I was so scared because there's all these cars flying at you from I forget how many, I think it's like 5 or 7 roads that converge there into that like circle around it. And I just went, and I just, didn't let anybody intimidate me, and it was fine. But yeah, I have driven in England, and driving on the left side of the road is really bizarre because it's so hard to train your mind, and you want to do what you're used to, and you can actually end up dead from doing that. Same with like when you're crossing the street in England. That's why they've taken all these precautions for tourists, because people look the wrong way before they cross the road, and people have ended up injured and killed because of it. But yeah, Snazzy Channel, I'm sure, and I don't know. Do you have a seasonal tourism industry, or is it just all year round? Oh, Estonia! Wow. That's one place. Is it Tallinn? Tallinn is the capital, right? I've wanted to go to Estonia because I've seen pictures and videos of Estonia. It's so beautiful, and all the countries around you there. What is it? Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania. But they all look nice. Where did I grow up? I grew up in Massachusetts. Year round. Yeah, that's what I figured, Snazzy Channel. Yeah. That's the worst, It's not so bad if you live in a touristy place where it has a season. And you're just, what to expect, but it's gone when it's gone. But yeah, year round, I don't know if I could deal with that, to be honest with you. And I've been I was telling everybody, I don't think you were here, but I've seriously been considered moving to Malta when I'm ready to retire, which is, I know I'm older, but no, I'm not that old. because it's just the weather's so beautiful, and there's I didn't realize actually how much how metropolitan it was. Um, and then when I learned that their second official language was English, I was like, wow, that would be so great. I'd have the weather. I'd be able to speak my own language and all of that. So, but their tourism is a little more seasonal, so it wouldn't be so bad. I don't mind like in the summertime if there are a lot of people, and actually I could go somewhere else for the summer, I guess. But that's not bad. But yeah, year round, I think that would be crazy. Hello, Portugal. I've been to Spain, but I have not been to Portugal. But I do want to go to Portugal. I've seen and read a lot about Portugal. Actually, when I was thinking about places overseas that I might want to retire to, Portugal was one of the places I looked at. And it's because it's a very compared to the United States, the cost of living is much better, and it's very good for people from like the U.S. and Great Britain and stuff to to retire to. Um, they drive on the wrong side of the road. The Japanese do. Favorite city I've ever visited. That's a tough one. I love Paris, even if it is crowded and if the people aren't the most welcoming to tourists. I do love Paris, but St. Petersburg, Russia, is one of the places I really liked a lot. I love London. I've been to Rome. Rome was dirty. Like I said, I'm into archaeology, so I was really thrilled to go. But when I was there, it was just a few years ago. It was filthy, and actually, a lot of people must have thought so too, because like a year or two ago, they announced a program to clean up Rome. So obviously, a lot of people say that Rome is dirty. So hopefully, they'll make some improvements. Pompeii is like in near Naples is the top of my list of places I want to go. I'm just so fascinated by Pompeii. But that was another thing. It was like, I don't know, the Italian government for some reason doesn't put a lot of priority on preservation. And there was a point where conditions in Pompeii were getting so bad, they were very concerned because things were deteriorating. And so finally, help swooped in, and they were able to stabilize it and open, more of the city up to people to visit. But yeah, I don't know. The Italian government doesn't seem to really care about old buildings and things. Oh, they were filming a prank video? Yeah, I mean, that can happen anywhere. Like, New York's a lot better than it used to be, but, I used to go to New York a lot for business, and I was always terrified at nighttime to walk around by myself. If you ever register property in Spain, you have to pay taxes to the Royal Crown to the end of your days. Yeah, I know some countries are worse than others. That was the other reason I liked Malta, because they don't pay property taxes every year. Here where I live in the Northeast in the United States, we pay really high property taxes. And so I was kind of interested that, their tax burden for property is really low. And actually, my house in France, I pay like 135 euros a year in property taxes, which is ridiculously low. And of course, the house isn't restored, so I don't know if that has an impact on it. But still, it's like that's so cheap, Whereas here we're paying, thousands of dollars a month or hundreds of dollars a month in property taxes. Yeah, Paris is beautiful. The people can be a little off-putting, and I found that I read French pretty fluently, but anytime I try to talk French to them, they just cut me off and start speaking English to me. Of course, but if you spoke English to them, they'd be like, "Oh, I don't understand English," you know. But then if you try to speak French to them, they're like, "Oh, here, no, 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 no. I'll speak English. Don't butcher our French language." But and I can say that because I'm half French. Um, yeah, you've heard that too. What Abastanza? Um, yeah, like I was found Rome fascinating. Like I didn't spend enough time there because I only had a few days, but there's so much to see to take in, and like I only went to Rome. I didn't want to try to go because I only had a few days. I didn't want to try to see too much, so I just concentrated on Rome, and it I loved it because I'm so fascinated with history. But I just couldn't believe how dirty everything was, and I mean like dirty, like dirt, dirty. And I found that you know everything wasn't like spiffy. Like I'm so used to going to like Paris where they vacuum the freaking streets at night, um, and they power wash everything, and it's like clean. It's like L.A. If any of you have been there or are from that area, one of the things I loved about living in L.A. is they would power wash the sidewalks, and like everything was manicured and landscaped perfectly. And how do I pay for travel? Well, when I was younger, I decided that I wanted to travel as much as I could. I worked in the hotel industry, and I decided that I would sacrifice buying a house and things at that point because I really wanted to see the world. And so I traveled a lot then. I don't travel as much now, but I do try to, get away at least once a year, although I haven't really taken much of vacation in the last few years. Um, but I am the consummate bargain hunter. So when I travel, it's like deal city. I sniff out sometimes some really great deals, and I will not go and pay full price for anything. And I'm not cheap. It's just that I like to get value for my money, and so I don't like to pay. If I like, I'm not going to pay to stay in a 5-star hotel if I can get a perfectly good, 4-star hotel for half that price, because it's like, how long are you in your room? Is it clean? Fine. Why did I choose to be an attorney? Well, I got my undergraduate degree in writing, and I worked in the hotel industry for, I don't know, 10 years or so. And then I worked in facilities management and human resources for a while. And I worked helping startup companies get their offices. I like literally started like their US offices for them and helped them get their visas to bring like coders over. And I did that for a while, and believe it or not, I was a teacher for a year, and that cured me of ever wanting to be a teacher. And then I went to law school. So I went to law school kind of late in life. But why did I do it? Because I like to help people. I'm always interested in the law. I've always been fascinated by the law, and I've always hate to see people get taken advantage of. So that's really why I did it. Would I do it again? Probably not, because people are always insinuating, "Oh, you're a lawyer. Oh, you must make a lot of money." Nick, no, I don't make a lot of money. I make enough to support myself and my cats, but I am not a rich lawyer. I have student loans that would give you gray hair. Why do you think I have gray hair? And so, no, I am not a rich lawyer. All lawyers are not rich. Only on television are they rich. So, because I had someone say to me, "Oh, you're doing a fundraiser to go see the Ace family, but you're a lawyer." I was like, "Yes, but I don't have the money to go out there. I hate to break it to you, but all lawyers aren't wealthy. I live in a modest house, and I drive a modest car, and I don't live extravagantly, and I haven't been able to take a vacation in 4 years. So, that's reality for you." But I do like helping people, and I like being a lawyer because I've actually done a lot of like what they call pro bono work for people that needed help and really couldn't afford to get an attorney. Because I really get pissed off. Like that's why the Ace family pisses me off. I hate seeing people get taken advantage of. What kind of law do I do? I actually do landlord tenant law and real estate and that kind of thing. And I also handle a lot of discrimination cases. So that's what I do. Um, so J-Man, what were you saying? Oh, you want to buy property in France? Yes, um, it's an interesting experience. And I did a lot of research before I bought my house in France, and it was. I mean, it wasn't a bad experience. It wasn't very difficult. It's just that they have not strange, but they have different ways of doing things and different things that you have to do. So it's not hard, but it's definitely a convoluted process. But it's not difficult. So if you want to do it. There are lots of websites. Like I found my house looking through lots and lots of real estate websites, and I found a house. And can you believe it? Never went to my house before I bought it. I didn't go till after I bought it, and I had a British guy who lived in the area act as my power of attorney, and he took like video and all kinds of photos, so I knew like what the house looked like. And believe it or not, in France, it's not customary to get a house inspection, a home inspection before you buy a house. And I thought that's really weird. And I was buying a really old house, so I was like, I think I want a house inspection. So I actually did get. They call it a survey, but there was a British guy who works and lives in that area who does that for a living, and so he went and checked it out for me. So I felt pretty confident. And then because my house is really old, I had to have an architect put together plans, even though I haven't renovated it yet. You have to get permission if it's an old house, like both from the city that you live in, and also from the I want to say federal government, from the national government monuments people, because my house is in a protected district of a city, and so it falls under both the government and the local restrictions for houses. And my plans aren't, I wasn't planning to do anything drastic to it, but he had to go like meet with the people from the government and the people from the city and explain and show them the plans. So but if you buy like a regular house, you don't have to go through that. But yeah, it was quite a process. But J-Man, depending on where you look, you can find really cheap real estate in France, and that's why I bought it. And also, it's like I also have looked at like Spain, where a lot of British people retire to Spain, and actually there are some shows that they have on British television about people relocating to southern Spain on the Mediterranean. And I didn't realize how many people live there. That's why, like when Brexit was going on, people were freaking out because there's like 1 million British expats that live in Spain. So all of a sudden, all those people were no longer going to be part of the EU, and so all of the ability. Oh, there's a moth in my house. All of the ability to live and work and freely move around suddenly evaporated. So, do I speak Italian? I studied Italian for 2 years. So, parlo italiano un poco. It's a language that my French, even though I don't use it conversationally, I read a lot in French to keep my my fluency in reading up, but I never really kept up with Italian, and I've thought about studying it again. I was able to get by in Italy in Rome when I was there, because I remembered enough of it, and I could still make it work. If I buy the Ace tickets and maybe able to meet them, oh God! And when yeah, J-Man, I so want to go to their wedding. No, I definitely don't want to go to their wedding. Those two really creep me out, and the more I watch Austin and Catherine interact, they really seem like off. You know what I mean? There's something off about them. They're so artificial, and it's. I think it's gotten more blatant as time has gone by, but it just. I really, they really kind of turn my stomach. To be honest with you. Jamie, and I hate to tell you this, but no, I am not for the renters. Much to my chagrin, because unfortunately, there aren't a lot of attorneys who are on the tenant side unless they work like in legal aid. And unfortunately, I can't afford to work for legal aid because they get paid even less than I make, and there's no way that I could survive. So, yes, I do not work for the tenants. I'm sorry to say. I used to do when I first started out in after law school, I worked in criminal defense work, and I actually worked with indigent people. That was what I did for 2.5 years. And I prefer to do things like that, not necessarily criminal law, but because I'm not going to get into the variety of reasons why criminal law is not something I enjoy, but yeah, if I would rather I actually would rather work like in animal law or something like that, like animal rights or something. But again, you have to make a living too. You can't. We all want to do what we want to do, but then you also have to think about putting food on the table. So, yeah, they're Kira. They're after the moratorium. Yeah, Jamie, and we, the area I work in, we never have a recession because when there's a recession, our business actually picks up. So this is like a recession-proof segment that I work in. I am kind of burning out on it, though. I've been doing it now for a while, and I've been doing it now for, 13 years, and I'm kind of at the point where, that's why I said if I did it again, I wouldn't do it. Just because the cost and everything. It just was so expensive to do, and, I thought, I'll get out of law school, I'll get a high-paying job, and nope. Nope, it doesn't work like that unless you're really lucky or you go to Harvard. So I ended up with a lot of student loans, and I don't know, the cost benefit I don't think was really worth it, to be honest with you. If I'd gotten, maybe I could have gotten a master's in something and it would have been better off, but it's what I do, so it's what I do. The painting. Yes, and actually I'll tell you who the artist is. I can never remember. But it's a 19th century painting. Let me look at the plate on it again because I can't remember his name. Oh my god, I can't even read this thing. It's so small. I can't read it. But I know I've looked him up before. I would have to blow up the thing because I can't read it. But he's a 19th century artist, British artist, and the painting is from, actually I think it's dated 1867. The 1867, and the story behind the painting is this. A lot of people see it and they think, oh, you must live in this magnificent house. No. There's an auction house that's about 10 minutes away from me, and they have some really good auctions. They actually are pretty high profile, so sometimes I look at their stuff because I like to get, I might bid on something, but I might put one bid, and if I don't win it, then I'm not gonna, I can't afford to bid a fortune on things, but this painting was in an auction, and I really liked it. I didn't actually, honestly, even though the dimensions were in the listing, I did not realize how big it was and how heavy it was. So I put in one bid, and it was like the opening bid. And because most of their clients are like online bidders, to ship something like this costs a fortune. Nobody else bid on it. I was the only bidder, and I won. And I think I paid $400 for it. But we had to secure bolts to the ceiling joists to hang it because that's how heavy it is. This frame, it's like a solid plaster and wood frame, weighs a ton. And so we had to secure it with heavy wire and bolts and things. And but it's great because it makes a really good backdrop, and it takes up like most of the wall. I always call it my Downton Abbey painting because it's like painting you would see like in one of those huge houses with the big high ceilings, because that's how big it is. In mine, it goes almost floor to ceiling. That's how big it is. But I love it because I like the scene, and it was in good shape, and it was not expensive. So. Oh, thanks so much, Damien. That's great. Yeah, it's what's funny is the more that my videos have kind of percolated and gotten some attention, I find that my older videos get more views, which is awesome. No Sense in Me. Thank you very much for that. That goes into the kitty cat food fund. I appreciate it. Yeah, Kira, I love it too. I love paintings. I love old paintings. I love portrait. I have a lot of portrait paintings. One of my guest rooms. I don't live in a big house. It is a Victorian, but it's not big. I have two guest rooms. One of my guest rooms is literally half of the room is paintings standing up that I've acquired over the years, and I just don't have enough space to hang them all. And so I sort of rotate them around because when I see a painting that's a good deal, like really cheap, but it's and I've learned a lot about artwork and oil paintings, so I really am good. There's a restorer guy that I work with because occasionally they need a little something, but he says I have a really good eye. So I do tend to pick, like when I pick one, it's like a good one, even if it needs a little work, or even if I get it for a steal. So I do love art, and I do have paintings all over my house. Tight clothes, yeah. Catherine kind of grosses me out, honestly. And there's one picture I keep using in my thumbnail, and like her boobs are like ready to fall out of the scooped neck on her shirt. And it's just like, I don't know. It just grossed me. It's like, your kids are gonna have to deal with this, and like people who do OnlyFans and stuff. I'm like, I'm glad you're making a lot of money, but what are you gonna tell your kids? It's like, do you really want to see your parents do porn? I don't. I would be mortified, but I don't know. Each to his own. Thank you, Holly. Yeah, Kira, I love, love, love art. I'm not real crazy about modern art, although I've grown to like some of it. But I'm not real crazy about modern art, so I only collect antique paintings, and I have like a lot of prints. I have like these plastic, the big containers that you can buy, and I have them like they're like full of prints because so I can keep them good, keep them safe and protected. But I'm never going to be able to hang them all up. So I don't know. When I die, they can auction everything off and give it to charity. Yeah, I agree, J-Man. It's like people always say TT, but it's not, I'm not like a gossip rag. And I'm sorry that people get pissed off that I expose things about them that I think are wrong. But I'm sorry, if they don't want to be controversial, then they should stop doing the crap they're doing. It's like, I don't make the story. They make the story. I just do the analysis, So Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know Snazzy Channel. They don't do porn, but it's still like when you grow up and you have to look back. I just think if they were my parents, I'd be grossed out. Yeah, I'm gonna, Hunter. I'm gonna set up. I think I will set up. A lot of people ask me that. Sloan suggested it to me too. He's like, you should set up a PO box. And I was like, for what? Honestly, I'm honestly probably one of the more humble people that you could possibly meet. Um, and not to like pat myself on the back, but I'm very self-deprecating. So you know, people suggest things to me. Like when someone suggested the live stream, like who the hell wants to listen to me talk? It's like why would I do a live stream? Nobody wants to see that. Nobody's even gonna come. That's just the way I think. It's like I could have 1 million followers and I'd still feel the same way. But Sloan was like, yeah, you should set up a PO box. You should do this. You should do that. And I was like, I'm small and like who cares? But I'm starting to take his advice a little bit more because, he's everybody starts in this position, I guess, and the only way you grow is to do certain things. So, and I do want to grow because I would love to like retire to Malta and have a YouTube channel. Oh, and I started to say earlier, I'm starting a children's bedtime story channel where I've started recording audio stories, and I had a graphic artist do create a mascot. It's a cat, of course. Of course, it's a cat. It has to be a cat. And then I had an animator make me a looping animation that I can like put on the screen. So while the story's being told, there's an animation going on. But yeah, I'm gonna give that a try and see if anybody watches it or listens to it. Thanks, Snazzy Channel. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like to do the deep dives. Some of them take some time, but I do like to do it. I love researching, as you can probably tell. I love to research. I love to dig. And I get really excited when I find something that nobody else has seen. With the yeah, I'm not really aware sometimes of the body language when I'm doing these things, but and just so you guys know, excuse me, I don't script my videos ever. I don't write a script. I don't have notes usually, unless it's something I have to like have some bullet points because it's a complicated subject I have to remember. I never use a script. Everything is completely off the cuff. When I come up with a zinger, it's just because it just came out. I don't practice these or rehearse them or, I just do straight through and then I go back and edit it. But and it takes forever to edit. Because I'm not at a point where I can pay somebody to edit for me. I had somebody offer to edit, and I was like, oh, okay, well, how much does that cost? And when they told me the price, I almost fell over. I'm like, you do realize I don't make anything on this channel. I don't have the money to pay you to edit my videos. Sorry. Yeah, I do. I love doing these videos. I really do. They're a lot of fun. And, somebody said to me they were annoyed that I talked about my cats, and I was like, yeah, but that's kind of part of my thing, and I said, honestly, the majority of people that comment love the cats, so I'm sorry if you don't like the cats, but they're just part of the channel. You gotta have something that makes you stand out, so I do the hats and I do the cats, and that's my thing. To make myself a little bit different, but it's fun. Oh, Caitlin, I have a what they call them Norwegian brown rats, not as a pet, but there's one because I live in a fairly urban area, even though I'm like just out of the city center. And at nighttime, sometimes when I'm in the kitchen with my cat Chloe, she'll like go to the sliding glass door and she's like looking all around, and I'll go and I'll flip on the light, and there's a freaking rat hanging from my bird suet feeder, and it's always the same rat, and it's always only one. There's one, and I I can't kill it, and I'm not gonna put a trap or poison or I'm the kind of person where it's like, thanks, Snazzy, have a good night. I'm the kind of person where I can't kill it. I don't. I have some house mice because I live in a Victorian. It's inevitable you have mice. They don't come up stairs, and they don't. They're not in the walls or anything. But I know some of them that live in my basement. And occasionally one of them makes the mistake of coming upstairs, and it doesn't last very long. And if I'm around, there's been a few times where I've taken the mouse and saved it from my cat. But thankfully, she doesn't like mutilate them. But and I feel bad for them. But my mother keeps saying, "Oh, you do something about the good night, Kira. You should do something about the mice in your basement." And I said, "They're not bothering me. They don't chew on anything, and as long as they're not like coming up into the house, or they're not, there aren't like a million of them down there, I'm just gonna leave them alone." So yeah, they're smart enough, Caitlin, to not come upstairs. Most of them, and the ones that aren't smart enough, I'm sure the other ones figure it out when they don't come back. But I can't kill anything. I kill a moth because moths drive me crazy. They in these old houses sometimes, you get things like the moths that show up, and then I have to put the little traps out. And the other thing that drives me crazy is talking about mice. People who use those fucking glue traps that torture these animals. I don't understand why people use glue traps. And I don't understand why they're even legal. Because they are I've heard so many horrific stories about screaming mice. And it's like, seriously, if you're gotta kill it, at least do it in a way that's humane and quick. Those glue traps are disgusting, and they're absolutely cruel. And please, those of you who are listening, if you ever have to get rid of mice in your house, please don't use a glue trap. Please don't use a glue trap. And sometimes it's not just mice that get stuck on them. There have been kittens getting stuck in them. It's just, please don't use glue traps. They are horrible. Horrible. Yeah, Caitlin, that's why I never see mice up here. So that's why they don't really bother me, because I don't see them. So I leave them alone, as long as they're not, there's not like overrunning the basement, and I don't see them when I go in the basement. I don't know where they are, but they're fine. They're these little tiny mice. They're not like these big. They're so small, and so like delicate that they're not very big. They don't bother me. They just don't bother me. And I think during the summer I was reading that they actually leave the house in the warm weather. So I may seal like I've patched some, like, again, I live in an old house with a granite foundation, so there's always cracks and things that they can get through, and I guess they can get through really small cracks. But I'll go around probably this summer and do some more patching and pointing on my foundation to close up any small cracks, to try to keep them from coming back, because I don't really want them in the house. But once they're in the house, I'm not going to kill them. So, but yeah, so I do have one rat that comes around occasionally. I don't know where it lives. I know Norwegian brown rats burrow. They don't live in houses and things. They burrow in the ground, like rabbits. So I don't know where it's coming from, but it comes by itself every so often, and it swings from it can climb up the side of my house and get on the suet feeder, and it takes off when it sees me. But it doesn't bother me as long as it's not in my house, as long as it's not living in my house, or causing any damage. My neighbors are like, "Oh, you should take the bird food in." It's like, honestly, I like to feed the birds. The birds, I see like literally the same birds all the time, and I know they're the same because sometimes they come in pairs. Like the male and the female will come. Like I have a male and a female woodpecker, a male and a female cardinal, And they come, and I know that a lot of times, especially in the area where I live, where there's a lot of urban people, they need to be fed because there isn't enough for them to eat. So I'm like, you know, if the rat wants to come and chow down once in a while, I'm not going to take the bird food in. And not only that, but Chloe loves to sit and watch the birds all day long from the window. Somebody asked if my cats are outdoors or they stay in the house. 100% in the house. No outdoors. Not only because I live in a busy area, but I also, people are cruel. There are cars. I can't believe people that live around me who would let their cats out, and it happens. I see lost cat signs all the time. There, coyotes have been seen, believe it or not, even though I live in an urban area. We have two like historic cemeteries near me that are really big and like garden, like grassy and with like ponds and trees, and they've seen coyotes in there, and it's like so. Those things will come by and snatch up a cat in a second. And I have to wonder these cats that have disappeared if that's not what's happened. It's like, why would you put your cat outside in this area? Predators, people, and cars. It's like they don't need to go outside. The Humane Society has said that it's not cruel to keep a cat in the house. My cats are happy as pigs in shit to live indoors and be pampered, and they have absolutely no interest in going outside. Squirrels, yeah. I do have squirrels. Obviously everybody has squirrels around, but and they do come and like pick up anything that falls from the feeder, and sometimes I'll catch one swinging from the feeder. Now they won't run away when they see me because there's two that come, and I know they're the same because I can tell by their tails. But one of them will kind of take off, but the other one, he'll just look right at me, and I'm literally, the feeder's like this far from the glass of my door, and he'll just sit there and hang upside down from my feeder and just stare at me. Caitlin, speaking of possums, I have, you'll understand why I'm saying this in a second, but I have a wild rabbit that comes sometimes at night to look for food, and she was like eating some of my my flowers and things. So I just started putting like apples pieces out for her, and she does come and she will eat them because I've seen her out there eating them, and she's afraid, but she won't take off when she sees me because she knows I'm gonna throw her some food. So I'll throw apple slices out, and she'll just stand there while they land, and then she'll start eating them. But anyway, so I went one night to put apples out, and I thought she was out there, and then when I turned on the light, it was a white possum sitting there eating an apple slice. And I'm like, where the hell do these animals come from? I live in an urban area. Where do they come from? Where the hell does a rabbit and a possum come from? The mice and the rats, I understand, but possums and rabbits, it's like, where the hell do they live, that they come around here? But it's funny the things you see. Yeah, the rib cages can collapse, Caitlin. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard they can get through like a half-inch crack, which I didn't realize they could get in something that small. So I'm really gonna have to go around and do some patching this summer, because there are some small cracks in my foundation's like blocks of granite, so it has to be like mortar in between the blocks of granite, and it's inevitably there are cracks. So yeah, yeah, exactly. It is like that. I know that commercial you're talking about. It's really funny. And I haven't seen it again. It was here one time, and that was it. And I heard that sometimes they'll like take up residence, and I have a little insulated like small house. It's actually supposed to be for cats, but I had put it out there in the winter for the rabbit. And believe it or not, she would actually sit in there because I put like hay that's specially made for rabbits, and they eat it. And I put hay out there, and there'd been a few times when it was like snowing, and the snow had accumulated, and I'd see the tracks, and I'd look out, and she'd be sitting in the house munching on hay and eating apples, and she would like stay for 2 hours, and then she'd take off again. So she mustn't live far away. And one time she did bring a baby with her, so I know she lives somewhere around here. I just don't know where. I kind of half wish she would like burrow in my garden or under my back porch or something, and at least I would know that they're safe. Yeah, I heard that, Becca, that they do hiss. I wasn't anywhere near it. I just could see it from my door because maybe it was like 10 feet away from me, and it didn't hiss. It didn't like play dead or anything. It kind of looked at me and it did take off, but you know, critters like that don't bother me. And I know possums don't carry rabies and they eat bugs and stuff, so I don't mind. I wouldn't mind if it came around more often. But like I said, I only saw it once and then it was gone. Hey, Jaron from San Francisco. Yeah, Beck, I heard that. And actually, when I was a kid, when I was a little kid, we lived near a busy street, and one time, unfortunately, there was a mama and all of her babies dead in the road. And so, a friend of mine, we got a shovel, and we dug a grave, and we buried them all in it. Um, and it was sad to see. But yeah, that's how I know they do carry their babies because they were all with her. Sorry, I don't mean to like say something something depressing, but um, yeah, Becca, about the glue traps. I know that. Yeah, a lot of times it doesn't kill them. It just snares them, and then you have to deal with it. But it's like gross, and cruel. Um, yeah, Becca, it was really sad, but you know, we we felt we had to do our duty as we must have been 9 years old. We felt we had to give them some dignity, and we dug them a grave and buried them. So, um, but yeah, I've always loved animals and cats in particular since I was a really small since I was just learning to read when I was like 4, and I could read a free kitten sign, and I wanted a cat so bad. I don't know why. I just have always loved cats. When we had dogs. We didn't have any cats, and when I saw the free kitten sign, my mother had said, "If you see one, let me know," because she didn't think I could read. And then when I saw the sign and I said, "Hey, that said free kittens," they stopped and they did get me a cat, and I had that cat for a long time. But just ever since then, I just have loved cats. So it looks like the quality is pretty good right now. Um, I think because it's getting later. So you guys, I'm gonna go in a few minutes because I do really have to eat and I have to get this video up. But I do have court hearing in the morning. It's only on Zoom, but I do have a 9 o'clock hearing. So I've got to prepare for that too. But and I can't believe it's 8:30 already, my time. But it's been great chatting with everybody. I really appreciate that so many people came by. Cedric is here. Come here, Cedric. Come here. Oh, Cedric. Sorry, guys. Come here, Cedric. Come here. I had a little plate on my desk, and Cedric thought it would be great just to sit in the middle of the little plate. Um, and it scared him off because it started to fall off the desk. But anyways, um, yeah, it's been great chatting with you guys too. Next time I think I'm gonna do it over. Like I just got put up some new furniture. I think I'm gonna do it sitting like on the couch because the cats tend to gravitate towards the furniture, and so I know you guys always see like the same cats all the time, but yes, I do have 15 cats. You just don't see them all. But I think if I did it over on the the love seat that I have over there, that I think that they would come around and you see more of the cats. Um, yeah, it is looking good. Thanks, ugly hairy girl. Right now it's really good. See, this is how it was when I tested it earlier. Like I said, I think it's the time that I did it. I think that what I need to do is do it like earlier, either earlier or later. Because I think it's like rush hour on the network, and I think that it just totally get this system is just overloaded, I think, with people online at that time. And then, I'll pick a better time, I think. Hey, Anna, how are you? What time is it in Brazil? It must be pretty late, I think. Is it late? I think you're ahead of us, right? You're ahead of the East Coast? Or I don't know, maybe you're not that far off from us. What's the time? What time is it there? Yeah, Sierra. Yeah, honestly, I seriously, when I decided to do this, I really thought that there would be like nobody. Thank you so much, Anna. Post a picture of all my cats together. J-Man, that's never gonna happen because 21. So yeah, you're not far off from me, because it's um, you're an hour ahead of me, so that's not bad. Any kitties in the room? Yeah, there's several of them. Squirt, come here, Squirt. Come here. Squirt, come here. Come here, Squirt. Sybil's here. See, I called for Squirt to come over. By the way, Squirt's name is really Olivier, but I've never a day in his life called him Olivier. Most of my cats I call them by their names, but I've had a few that I never called them by their names. And I like my cat Stefan, my deaf cat, my white cat. I never called him Stefan. Not that he would know because he's deaf, but I call him Squeaky. That's all I've called him because that's he. When he meows, he makes kind of a sort of a strange meow. I think it's because of him being deaf, but so I've always called him Squeaky. But like I said, he doesn't know. I could call him, Spot, and he wouldn't have any idea. But Squirt's is one of the few cats that I never call their name. His always Squirt. Even when I take him to the vet, they know him. They're like, "Oh, Squirt," because he's so small and he's so cute and he's looking at me. He's sitting on the love seat and he's just like looking at me because he knows I'm talking about him. But he's so funny because he's one of my cats that gets extremely excited for bedtime. When it's bedtime, he chatters away. He's one of my vocal cats that like talks, and he gets so excited for bedtime because he wants to go to bed, and he chatters at me and gets all excited and rubs against me. And when I go to sleep, he likes to sleep either on my pillow or right next to me. And Sybil's the same way. Sybil sleeps right next to me. But my deaf cat, when it's bedtime, if I'm like, I'll be on the computer here at my desk, and he'll sit in the doorway of my office, and he'll sit there straight up, but he's like falling asleep because his eyes are like half open, and he's waiting for me to go to bed. Because when I go to bed, he comes into bed and he sleeps right against my leg so that he can feel if I get up, and he'll know I'm getting up. But he sleeps all night long. Most of my cats sleep all night long. I've trained them all. When it's bedtime, they get treats. And I've never ever had a problem. Like, I hear horror stories, people, their cats keeping them awake all night. My cats never. Very rarely. I've got a black cat you'll meet. His name is Nero. He's a very sweet cat, but he's a pain in the ass because he likes to chase the other cats around. And so once in a blue moon, he'll, in the middle of the night, decide that, he's got insomnia and he's going to harass one of the cats. And then I'll get up and I get kind of pissed. But he's a good boy. You'll see him. For the first 2.5 years I had him, he wouldn't come out of the guest room. He was so terrified that if I brought him out of the guest room, he would literally run and hide, and I have to go looking for him. But now, finally, after like 5 or 6 years, he doesn't come downstairs a lot, but he will come downstairs. But he will walk around the upstairs. He's like the king of the upstairs, that's his territory. So he patrols the bedrooms upstairs. But you'll meet him eventually because he does come down sometimes, and he's really sweet. And I think he's like, what do they call it? Oh God, I'm so tired I can't even think. But he's black. He looks sort of like a panther. I can't remember what they call him, but he's got like fangs that stick down, and he's got like these copper colored eyes. He's really pretty. But he was a feral cat that I took in, and he's really sweet. All of my cats are pretty sweet. Your cat's name is Zoe. Oh, cool. And you call her Sachi. Yeah. Um, yeah. I have a cat named Chloe. Chloe. Um, but yeah, my name. I've never named. Oh, here comes Amelie's coming. I can't believe she's awake. You know what it is? She knows it's getting close to bed. She sleeps. This is my oldest cat. She sleeps 90% of the day, 95% of the day, probably. But she knows that it's getting closer to bedtime and that treats come at bedtime. And so she's got up and she's come downstairs because despite her senility and her old age, she knows that there's something to eat coming. Amelie. 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 I think she's half deaf too now. Amelie. Hey. Amelie. Sammy, come here. Come here. Come here. Sam, come here. Here. This is Amelie. Amelie's my oldest cat. And she's the one that sleeps all day. She's another one. She likes to sleep in the bed, and she's got to be like right next to me. So that's why I sang before. Oh, thank you, J-Man. That's so nice. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. That's why I was saying earlier that I finally got a king-size bed, even though I live on my own, because the cats take up so much fucking room on my bed that I finally got a king-size bed because I was like, you guys have got to spread out because I've got to get a good night's sleep. And I would be like, you see those funny cartoons that are so true. It's like, the cat's like here and you don't want to move because you don't want to wake him up. And so I'd be like sleeping on the edge of the bed. So I finally got a king size bed, and now they do spread out a little bit. But there's like a handful of them that have to be like right near me, and they sort of like pig pile together, even though some of them hate each other. At nighttime when you're sleeping, it's about the warmth, and they call a truce and they all snuggle up for the night. So, oh, that's good that you found her family though, Anna. Yeah, I know, the sacrifice. It's so true. It's like, I see those cartoons and people laugh at them. I'm like, that is so true. It's like reality, it's funny, but it's reality. It's like, this is, that and cats knocking things over. My deaf cat, because nothing startles him, he loves to knock shit over. And he will, on purpose, knock things over. And he doesn't flinch because he doesn't hear it. But he'll sit like on my bureau and he'll just like boom, boom. Either he wants attention or he wants something to eat. He's too funny though. He's such a good cat. He's one that I did get him from a rescue, but he was little. He was like, he was 6 months old. But I went to get him, and the woman said to me, because she was like fosters cats all the time, she goes, yeah, I think you'd make a good home for him, but, just so you know, he's probably not going to take to you right away. He doesn't like to be picked up, blah, 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 blah. So he came over to me, and I picked him up, and he fell asleep in my arms. And she said, I can't believe that. She said, it's meant to be. So I took him home. My friends call me the cat whisperer because I've never had a cat that I couldn't eventually tame and get to bond with me. I've never had a cat that, Chloe was my biggest challenge, and even she's like, pick me up all the time. So cats being cats, yeah. Thank you, Anna. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. But yeah, that, and I have to vacuum constantly. Oh, hey, Jess, thanks. Yeah, I'm going to be signing off in a minute because I've got to eat, and I've got to get this video edited so that I can put it up tonight. Because while things are kind of on a roll, I kind of want to keep putting stuff. And Sloan was like, yeah, it's sort of one of the things that helps you grow is if you post more often. Um, you've seen so many self streams. Oh, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I can't stand those. There's people I'm not going to name, but and who I actually kind of like, but who drive me crazy because they're so self-absorbed. It's like I was saying, I'm very self-deprecating and I have a lot of humility, and it's like these people who act like divas, and it's like, you know, half the people, or not more than that, only a handful of people even know who the hell you are. You're not a star. You're not a movie star. You're not Brad Pitt or Jennifer Aniston. Nobody knows who you are. So stop. Oh my God, my nephew's here. Hey, Cam. But yeah, it's like me. I'm like, who? Like I was saying, when I did this, I was like, nobody's gonna come watch me stream. Who the hell cares what I have to say? That's just the way I feel about things. I don't think that anything I have to say isn't going to matter to anybody. But anyways, obviously that can't be true. But yeah, Sloan and I talk a lot now. We text. Actually, we finally exchanged phone numbers because we were like chatting on Instagram. But I'm never really aware, and he was never like really aware when I would send him a message or me. So finally we exchanged phone numbers. And we text, all the time now. But he is very sweet. I like him a lot. Sloan is really one of the good people. And he's got a lot of humility too. He's not one of those people who lets it go to his head, even though he's got like 1 million subscribers now. So he's really been a great mentor to me, although I'm old enough to be his father, I hate to say. He gives me a lot of good suggestions, which I really appreciate, because I want to keep growing. And he says I'm doing everything right. So, if he thinks I'm doing things right, then I must be doing okay. So, everybody starts out small. That's why, I don't get offended when people are like, oh, you're such a small channel. What are you picking on these Ace family? And I'm like, you know what? You think the Ace family went on? Oh my God. Can you guys hear? Squirt is sneezing up a fit. Squirt's issue, is that he has perpetual allergies and sinus problems. So that's his challenge. So he's very rare does he have a day where he's like completely clear. And it's really, yeah, could you hear that? Yeah, he gets a lot of ear infections, so I'm constantly taking, that's why everyone at the vet knows him and loves him so much, because he's just a little guy, but I have to take him to the vet a lot because he gets infected ears, and they have to like put stuff way down in his ears. No, digging in the litter. No, you wouldn't hear that in this room. No litter box in the office. But yeah, poor Squirt. But you know what? He's a happy guy, and I take care of him, and he's my little buddy. It's like him and Sybil. When eventually they pass on, I'm gonna be really upset because they're like my two favorites. And you can't see her, but Amelie is just like quietly sitting here on my desk because she wants treats, and that's the only thing that will get her out of bed. I go upstairs no matter what time of the day or night it is, and she's so sound asleep that she doesn't even move when I call her name. I think part of that though is that she's hard of hearing now. So oh God, my first spammer. Okay. Yeah, this is the first time I've done this. So, hide user. There you go. Bye. J-Man, thank you so much. That was very nice of you. Yeah, I didn't even notice that person spamming me, and it's like, oh God, there you go. First one. So, very few people I've had to block in the comments, but there are a few who are kind of nasty about, because you can tell they're like young Ace family fans who think I'm just, so horrible for picking on these, like somebody I told you earlier said today, oh, you're picking on these people and they're struggling. I'm like, what? Struggling? If they're struggling, it's their own fucking fault, These people have had every opportunity that so many people would love to have, and they squandered it all away, and they do stupid, sketchy things. So, you know what? dude, you're blind if you think these people deserve pity. You know, so, and he was like, you're just a small channel. I'm like, yep, I am. But you know what? The Ace family didn't go online and have 14 million followers the first day. So, you know, I'm content, you know, I'm growing. That's all I care. So, go get her a treat. Yeah, yeah, and eat me too. I'm getting a headache because I haven't eaten all day. But I had 2 court hearings today and then some other crap going on. So, there's some days when I just don't even take lunch. And I don't really notice it until all of a sudden I'll get starving or I'll get a migraine. And so, when you get your first spammer, yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh look, I've got a spammer. That's new. I guess we've been on here so long tonight that they finally found us. Yeah, my antivirus. I have to say, J-Man, that and I swear by Norton antivirus, I've never ever, knock on wood, gotten a virus or that, and I'm also very careful. Like I don't click on things or open things ever that are even slightly suspicious. But Norton does a really good job of keeping the viruses at bay and catching dangerous links and things. So, you missed the live? No, you didn't. I'm here. Yeah, I never click on anything that, you know, and they'll spam the chat. Not the chat. Yeah, the comments. If I put a video up, it's like one of the first comments that comes up will be these, and they're always in Spanish. I don't know why they're always in Spanish, but they're always in Spanish, and so I have to wait a second. I'm reporting this one. There we go. Why isn't it going away though? I thought they'd go away when you did this. Oh, you know why? Because I think I have to block them. Otherwise, I have to report every single message. So I am going to hide the user. There you go. Bye. There you go. I feel so powerful. All of a sudden. Yeah, I'm going to stop the stream because, honestly, guys, it's almost 9 o'clock now. I've got to eat. I've got to get this video done. Oh, here's Edith. Edith is here. Edith, come here. Squeaky, come here. Squeak, come here. Squeaky, come on. See? I told you, Squeaky, my deaf cat. He's sitting there by the door, and he'll stay there until I finally get up to go upstairs to go to bed. Oh, here he is. Oh, Squeaky's right here. Here he is. Oh, Squeaky. Oh. That's my deaf cat, Squeaky. He's got stuff in his eyes. I gotta clean his eyes. So, yeah, once the spam starts. Yeah. All right, guys. I'm gonna sign off, but we'll do another one soon, and I will. See, he's gonna knock something off my desk because he doesn't care. He doesn't hear it. Thank you, Anna. Thank you. It's nice to see everybody live. Yeah, Squeaky's he's very sweet. He is very sweet. He can be a little brat to the other cats, but the boys seem to be the ones that pick on everybody, but not in a very, not in a, like a nasty way, but they're just like brats. Anyway, so good night, you guys. I will see you guys soon, and thank you everybody for stopping by, and we'll do another one, but see, he's such a pain in the ass. He just knocked a box off my desk, and he's like, what? Anyways, I'm going to go, but we'll do another one. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, J-Man, and everybody who donated. I really appreciate it. It all goes for the cats. To defray costs, but I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for helping me grow to where I am now. And I'm going to go eat before I faint, and I will send an invitation out, and we'll do it at a slightly different time so that we don't have to deal with the traffic jam. And see, now it's really good, so I know it was the time of day. So it does have a lot to do with it. So I think with the new graphics card, and if we change the time, we should be good. So good night, everybody. Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon, and look for my next video, which I hope to get up tonight. If not, I may end up waiting till tomorrow because it's getting kind of late, and it takes me usually at least a couple hours to edit a video, and I am kind of tired. But it'll either be up tonight or it'll be up early tomorrow, probably like around lunchtime. So look for that, where I'm going to talk about the illegal advertising that the Ace family has done, the deceptive advertising that they've done, and we'll talk about that. And I will see you guys later. Take care.